Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another Magic Arena Explorer video. So today we're playing another 5-color deck, following our recent video playing Quintorius combo, but this one involves playing Niv Mizzet. So normally the Pioneer version of this deck plays Bring to Light, which kind of adds a huge amount of consistency to the deck. Now we don't have Bring to Light on Arena yet, so I'm going to try a slightly different version of the deck, but the idea behind it is the same in that you run a lot of two-color spells, so various kind of color combinations, all 10 combinations, and then you play 4 copies of Niv Mizzet Reborn, which is a 6/6 for Wooburg, so one of each color mana. It has flying, and when it enters the battlefield, you reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each color pair, choose a card that's exactly those colors from among them. Put the chosen cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So essentially, you look at the top 10, you can put a blue-black card in your hand, a white-black card in your hand, a green-white card, etc. for all 10 colour pairs, and you will usually, in a deck like this, end up drawing 3 to 5 cards off Niv Mizzet. So that's pretty good. Now, there are actually 3 different 5-colour Niv Mizzets that you can run in this format. We're not running the most recent one, but we are also running 1 copy of Niv Mizzet Supreme, which is a kind of backup 5th copy of Niv Mizzet, which doesn't quite do the same thing, but it's a 5/5 with flying and hexproof from mono-coloured, and each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard that's exactly 2 colours has Jumpstart. And a reminder that Jumpstart is that you can cast the card from your graveyard by discarding a card in addition to its other costs, and then you exile it. So it's basically a way of kind of using the graveyard to recur our 2-color spells rather than putting more of them in our hand. So it does a similar kind of thing, but just 1 copy of that as well. Then we are running a couple of new Birds Karlov mana cards. So Lightning Helix is the most obvious, a very good 2-color card that deals 3 damage to any target and you gain 3 life. So a very useful addition to this deck. Good removal spell, helps stabilize, keep our life total high enough till we get to the mid-late game where we can play our big threats, which is a very, very good card. And then we are running a couple of copies of Analyze The Pollen as well. So this is a 1 green sorcery that we can collect evidence 8 as we cast it. If we don't, we just search our library for basic land card, which in a deck like this where you do need to fix your mana quite often is often just good enough by itself. But if we do collect evidence, then we can search our library for a creature or land card instead, reveal it and put it into our hand and shuffle. So it does. It has slightly different utility. It kind of fulfills a little bit of the Bring to Light role in this deck, in that we can just pay 1 mana, collect evidence 8, and potentially go and fetch our Niv Mizzet. Now it's a little bit of a non-bo with Niv Mizzet Supreme, but I don't think that interaction will come up hugely often, and we could always exile things like Leyline Bindings instead. But that's worth bearing in mind, paying close attention to which cards you exile when you're collecting evidence. And then, just because this deck can run basically everything, we are also running our 4 copies of Up the Beanstalk, so the very powerful Wilds of Eldraine card, 2 mana when it enters the battlefield, or whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, you draw a card. So, Niv Mizzet's, Leyline Bindings, Escape to the Wilds, they all trigger it, so we will usually get 2 or 3 cards off of this spell, and it's just a good value thing to sit on the battlefield. 4 copies of Vanishing Verse, again with Lightning Helix, very, very good versatile removal spell. Drown in the Lock and Molten Collapse doing similar things, so we've got a whole suite of removal at 2 mana that can just keep us in the game. Then 1 copy of Hydroid Crisis, which will often also be a 5 or more mana spell. Just the 1, no double Crasi, whatever. X green blue, draw half X cards and gain half X life. Flying Trample, very, very good card. 4 Fable of the Mirror Breaker, those treasure tokens come in great handy as well as filtering our draws. The Wandering Mind lets us just go searching for particular instant sorceries or non-creature, non-land cards in general. Kolagon's Command, another powerful 2-color card. Clothis, good graveyard hate and life gain. Deafening Clarion, mass removal spell in 2 colors. Also a good way of just gaining a bit of life. There will often be board states where we might have a Niv Mizzet in play. The opponent will have some smaller creatures and we can just kill them all and also give our Niv Mizzet lifelink. That's a big swing. Cosmic Rebirth, good way of recurring at some of our cheaper permanents, as well as potentially just putting something back in our hand. There are 4-drops. We are running Omnath, Locus of Creation as well, so another powerful card, the powerful 4-colour Elemental that draws a card when it enters the battlefield, and then has all of those landfall abilities. 1 Supreme Verdict, again, mass removal spell, 2 colours. Nahiri the Harbinger, a good 2-colour Planeswalker that can not only exile annoying artifacts, enchantments, or creatures the opponent plays, but can also help filter our draws and potentially kind of cheat in a Niv Mizzet into play using its -8. And then, as I say, we've got our 5 Niv Mizzets, an Escape to the Wilds, just to give us some more card draw, and then 4 copies of Leyline Binding as well. So yeah, a lot of cards, and that's one of the reasons why we're running Yorion, so we can get that kind of 80-card deck. And then it's extremely complicated mana base, but the key thing is that lots of different dual lands, lots of tri-lands, unsurprisingly, and then not only are we running a full copy of each basic land just to help fix our mana, but we have those 4 Fable passages to go and get them and trigger the Omnath twice using the ability of Fable Passage. Then in the sideboard, as well as Yorion taking up a slot, we've got 2 Deafening Silence, so a good way of shutting down Izzet Phoenix and decks like that, decks which are trying to combo off. It'll be interesting to see if this gets replaced by High Noon, that new card in any decks. A couple of Fatal Pushes, again early removal, Dovin's Veto, a 2-colour counterspell that can't in itself be countered. You could potentially see an argument for running No More Lies in this slot here, but I think given its sideboard anyway, Dovin's Veto is probably better as a sideboard card. 2 copies of Campbell, so if the opponent's running a lot of non-creature spells, then this will help drain them out of the game. Ashiok, stopping them searching their library. Unmoored Ego, just taking out particular cards like a Scalpel. 1 copy of Krenko's Buzzcrusher, so good way of just blowing up the opponent's difficult non-basic lands like Lotus Field or Nykthos. Potentially also a good way of fixing our own mana if we need to kind of slightly reassess our color combinations. A Culling Ritual, again, mass removal, destroying cheap non-land permanents, but also giving us some mana as well. And then a copy of the Scarab God, very powerful 5-mana finisher. Not only gives us some scry value, but that can then start turning our creatures or our opponent's creatures into 4/4 zombies from the graveyard, and very hard to get rid of. So that is the sideboard. So yeah, this is Niv Mizzet. Good to be playing this card again. I haven't used it on Arena for a very, very long time. So let's see how this deck does without the kind of bring to light combo that we have in Pioneer. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Hit those like and subscribe buttons as ever, and let's go on to the ladder. Okay, this is a pretty decent spell mix. We've got a 1, 2, 3 quite neat curve. Yeah, this is actually a great hand. Will not complain about that at all. Okay, the opponent's on an Ensoul deck, so Kolagon's command will probably come in quite handy here. Spara's Headquarters is also good. Very good mana fixers, these triomes. Okay, no turn 2 Ensoul Artifact, which is good news. And they're also not cracking their map tokens, so that's a-okay with me. Okay, let's pop a mountain into play here. I think we'll just stick up the Beanstalk into play. Draw a card. Yeah, I mean, that's not the worst. We didn't have anything that could trigger it anyway, and we've potentially got a Deafening Clarion going on for us here, so... How fussed am I? I mean, they're probably going to sacrifice it anyway, so let's just Clarion here. They can sack the Combat Courier to draw a card. but it gets all their stuff off the board, so not going to complain about that. Okay, they don't have metallic rebuke mana, so let's just make them discard a card, destroy that artifact. Ooh, okay, that I did not expect. That is pretty devastating, to be honest. We're going to need a good removal spell now. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I mean, yeah, that stubborn denial I did not expect to see in the main deck, but yeah, good for them. Okay, well, let's put in Fatal Push. That's a good answer to most of their creatures. Culling Ritual's good as well. What are we taking out? Helix is fine, Clarion's fine. Vanishing Verse is a bit meh. Just because it doesn't hit any of their tokens, so we'll take some of those out. Yep. It's not the greatest hand because we don't have green mana, but hopefully Wandering Mind will help us get what we need. It's an aggressive Ensoul artifact. So let's play Wandering Mind. I think we'll have to take Verdict here, just because we can't currently cast. Still don't have any green mana. It's always the danger when running these kind of decks. I think I will take the trade here, just because I want to protect our life total as much as possible. Okay, let's drop Nahiri into play. Exile their Citadel.
Rage cannot be quelled.
This card is far too good. Just throwing it out there. For what it is. 2 mana, that's just ridiculously powerful. Inti. Okay, Stubborn Denial at least is a bit useless here.
Shattered.
Am I just verdicting? I think that's probably sensible. I have a Jetmir's Garden, so at least we now have all of our colours. Oh, they're just not going away, are they? So I think let's analyze the pollen, collecting evidence. Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's not great. Let's play Wandering Mind. Take a Kolagon's command into our hand. You're doing the Lord's work, Wandering Mind. Okay, 2 Smuggler's Copters is fine, so... let's... bring back Wandering Mind, destroy their token. Let's play it again. Ooh, Fable of the Mirror Breaker, I think here is a good shout. Just for once, could it have been a land? Huh. That's concerning development, isn't it? Okay, at least we've seen it enough to know that we need to... Okay, now let's Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Let's up the Beanstalk. Oh, auto tap has absolutely screwed us here. Now let's just blow up their Spyglass Siren then, because we know they're not going to draw a creature, so they won't be able to crew their vehicles. We'll ditch the island here. Analyze the Pollen once again. That is 8. Now let's get Niv Mizzet reborn. Excellent. Am I doing anything different? Do I want Campbell on the draw? I don't think so. It's a bit too slow. Yeah, all of this stuff's too slow. I think we're fine as we are. Yeah. Don't love it, but at least the opponent's on a mulligan. Helix will probably do some good work here. Hopefully Vanishing Verse can as well. Although, as I say, it doesn't hit Copter or anything like that, so it is a little on the rough side having to play it. Having it in our opening hand. Okay. This lack of land is going to be a problem. Okay, at least that's useless. Now I shall fetch myself a plains. Oh dear. Okay, well let's take out Inti for the moment. Yep, No, good work, good work. I mean, if you're going to mulligan to 5, I suppose it's a pretty decent bet if the opponent's just not going to draw any land. Okay, that is at least something, even though our life total is looking a bit dodgy now. Right, let's play up the beanstalk. Well, this is a problem. Okay, well, let's pass with Leyline Binding available. Discard Cosmic Rebirth, I think, here. If they draw a land, I'm just dead. Yep. Yeah, that was ridiculous. Never mind. Okay, let's try again. No green land, but Vanishing Verse will probably keep us going for a little bit. No red land, I mean. Okay, looks like the opponent's on a control deck anyway. And they've got mana problems. Don't worry, so have I. So you're in good company. What a fun game for everyone. Nope. Hey, okay. Let's go fetch ourselves a mountain. Let's just run a Fable into what is obviously a counterspell. Yep. Well, I may as well play on math. But we've now hit enough land drops that we're probably in a reasonable place. The opponent has not. Yeah, I'll take up the beanstalk here. Can give them something to counter. Yikes. Yo, my 2-1 flying friends. I believe in you. Okay, that's how I felt last game, so I understand. Dovin's veto, Campbell. Deafening silence is actually not very good against control, is it? Let's take out Lightning Helix, Nahiri. I think that will do. Do we want Unmoored Ego? Yeah, let's put it in. And drop a Clothis. Although Clothis does hit Memory Deluge. Let's keep Clothis in. Get rid of the Deafening Clarion. Actually, I don't want any Deafening Clarion, so let's put in the Scarab God, get rid of another Clarion. I'll keep on it. I'm not happy about it, but I'll keep on it. You see the shufflers on a right one today for both us and our opponents. This is no blue land. Makes it unkeepable, unfortunately. That's not terrible, so let's pop back our Vanishing Verse here and just hope for the best. The opponent's playing tap lands. I'm going to go get a mountain, or am I going to get an island? No, I'm going to get a mountain. Now I'm going to feel bad about my land mix by going to get an island. Then we'll run our first Wandering Mind into a counterspell, unless I see a reason. Or I could just run up the Beanstalk into a counterspell. That's probably better. Let's do that. Good. Well, let's shock in a land just in case they have, like, Sensor or something. Dovin's Veto is a good one. Ooh, now I could analyze the pollen as well. I think that's a decent shout. So what colour do we need? So we've got green. I could just go and get another green land here. Yeah, that seems fine. Yeah, let's just grab forest. I can cast this in such a way that leaves me with Dovin's Veto available, so let's play Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Fine. As long as I have a veto for a Teferi or something similar. It's A-OK. Leyline Binding's a welcome addition to what we've got going on. Okay. just stick that under a binding. Now I could just try and play another Wandering Mind here, but I don't think it's worth it. We may as well just leave our Dovin's Veto available. Then Leyline Binding may come in handy later if we can blink it with Yorion. Not that I think the game's going to go that long, but you never know. Surveil to the top, eh? Huh. Okay. Oh, more land is good. So... because I know the auto-tapper will try and do me, it always does, so let's put Yorion in our hand. Put Jetmir's Garden into play. Yeah, I'm not going to Dovin's Veto that. They have worse things that they can be doing. Yeah, I'm still very awkward in terms of mana, isn't it? So let's just pass the turn. Just need I've only got one blue mana is the problem. Otherwise I could happily cast Wandering Mind and know we still had Veto available. Double top? Outrageous. That's terrible. I don't like what is going on right now. Well, I'm going to have to veto that. Can't let him have it. Have they worked out I have no blue mana? Yep.
This isn't a fight.
No, Teferi's not monocoloured, is he? What am I doing?
Hurry.
Yeah, this is looking pretty rough now. They have an active Teferi that we can't do anything about. Yorion will just get countered, so play up the Beanstalk. Let's have a Wandering Mind. Okay, you got me. Maybe I should have held on to that veto after they flashback Memory Deluge, but I mean, feels pretty rough. Let's pop in. No, Ashiok's not very good. I think this is an okay configuration. We were just a bit stuck with blue mana there. And again, no blue mana here either. So we seem to get a lot of Wandering Minds in our hands, but it's not a bad enough hand that I can justify getting rid of it. And if I can get a Fable to land, then... Okay. Let's go fetch an island. Right, so Start playing Wandering Minds. Yeah, I can do this all day. Fable number 2 seems pretty good here. Keep the lands coming. Interesting. I will continue. Okay, that's pretty good to see that go when it's not targeting a Niv Mizzet. Play Scarab God. So we've run them through 3 counter spells. The Scarab God has survived. Sure thing. So they'll be looking for a Wrath of some description now. Or Teferi is not bad. Just tuck the Scarab God away, perhaps. But I can then kill it, so not the worst. Our Deafening Clarion and our Vanishing Verse are not doing much for us at the moment. But despite that, we're in reasonable shape. Interesting. Well, this looks suspiciously to me like a wandering emperor, so I'm not going to take the bait with my Scarab God. I am a patient man, and I will simply play another Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. Azorius Control is a very difficult deck to play around. You never quite know what they put. I mean, for all I know, they could just have another Memory Deluge, and they don't have Wandering Emperor, but you always have to play in a certain way that assumes that they might. Okay. Cycling Sensor is not a problem. Yep. Scarab God comes back. Ooh, interesting. So I'm going to ditch Clarion and maybe just Clarion? Yeah. Ooh, okay. Well, that's Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. Now, let's see what they do next. I'm not hugely worried about Teferi here, because I can just stick it under a ley line binding. Did I get done by the auto-tapper? I think I did. Again, I could have played Unmoored Ego. I mean, it definitely would have got countered, so maybe it's best that we didn't, but the auto-tapper always tapping basic lands first is a problem. So always be more careful with that. Yep.
Trust me, you'll thank me later.
Ooh, that must feel pretty rough. Am I going to try and binding it anyway? I think I probably should. Okay, it's only going to survive one turn though, so that's not the actual worst. Let's lose Vanishing Verse here. So I could Unmoored Ego away their Memory Deluges. Or play the Scarab God. Maybe just landing the Scarab God isn't too bad here. Yeah, let's do that.
Keep up the pace.
If they have another Supreme Verdict or a Farewell, then that's obviously a problem, but if they want a March of Otherworldly Light and use all their mana or strip their hand, that's also fine by me. Yep. Now, copy our reflection. Send it at Teferi. Sure thing. I'm going to Vanishing Verse that. Then I'm going to take all of their Memory Deluges. It's not a good hand. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Now my hand is empty, to be fair, so... now we can just prepare to copy lots of reflections. Fine, you do you. I will have a forest. No, a mountain. Okay. Mass reflection time is online. Here we go a-rolling. So we just copy this 5 times. They survive till my next end step. I could have just done it 8 times, I suppose, but I don't know, I quite like this interesting. Okay. That doesn't save you. I'm gonna Vanishing Verse your Hullbreaker Horror. I think they're just dead here, because I can just cast it again, and even if it survives, they're still taking 10 if they block 1. So pay the 3, and then they will die. That was grindy. We need to go and lie down after that. Yeah, couple of good games there. Shame about the first match turned into a bit of a nothing because of our mana screw. Feel like we could have done reasonably well in that third game, but never mind. Do we have any actual packs to open? No, that's just Outlaws at Thunder Junction stuff. So yeah, that is 5-colour Niv Mizzet. Interesting. What's this? Just uncommon. So, there's the deck list one more time. Thank you very much for watching. As ever, hit those like and subscribe buttons. Let me know what you think in the comments. And I'll see you next time.